Strong's Hebrew has Soph as end or rear. Soph is the end or the rear. Strong's Hebrew. Strong's Hebrew has several meanings. Brighteon, eye, spring, fountain. Sight, appearance, spring, fountain. There is not, nothing, and none. Interesting. So this would be the rear of the eye, looking backwards. End or rear, looking to the end or looking to the rear. Spring, fountain. Looking to the end or looking to the rear. That's where this is. To them. Looking in the reverse. When I have explained this way is you accepting the house of Ketu. When I've explained this here is you looking backwards. You are the Argo. You are looking backwards to the house of Ketu. You are taming this dog. And whereas this way is them showing that this is reverse thinking. This is proper thinking. They're acknowledging that, but it's hiding it in phonetics, in Phoenician double talk. Everything is double talk. This is nothing to them, but it means everything to them because it's their gold. It's their gold of giving us what to look at, which is nothing. Whereas here is our gold. This is our gold right here. Now, what is Janus? The Roman deity of double talk. The Roman deity of looking two ways of double talk. That's Janus, everyone. It's forward, reverse. You can think that all you want, but for me, it's double talk. Because Janus is the ancient italic deity to the Romans, the guardian god of portals, doors, and gates. The portals, doors, and gates are your way. This is your horse blinds. This is your limits. This is the rooms they put you in. These are the doors they surround you with. Okay, you have to open these doors. You have to cross these gates. You have to explore these portals. Patron of beginning and endings. Latin, Janus. See, Janus, they give you anus. Janus is anus. And heinous. From the Sanskrit, yana, which means path. This is the path. Anus is the path of your food. It goes out the back way. Whereas Sanskrit, yana, Janus, is belonging to the path. Yana is the path. Janus is Janius, is belonging to the path. The anus is an English corruption of the path, the spiritual path, not the biological, not the digestive anus or the digestive path. It's the yana. It's the Sanskrit. It's the spiritual path. The Old Church Slavonic jado, to travel. He is shown as having two faces, one in the front, the other in the back. Sunrise, sunset, future and past? I don't think so. I think it's opening and closed doors. That's Janus, because it means path, belonging to the path. It's a path. It's a portal to knowing who you are. That's Janus. That's belonging to the path, to Yana. 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 Going. Goes. Go. I shall go. Coming. Returning. It's movement. Yana. In due course of time. Yeah. Kala yana. In due course of time. Kala is time. In due course is yana. So thinking. Manayana. So thinking. Sayana. With his airplane. Vimanayana. Flying in their airplanes. Yana is flying. Airplanes is Vimana. This is Janus. Wisdom Library. Yana means something in Buddhism, Pali, Hinduism, Sanskrit, Marathi, Jainism, Prakti, Hindi, and biology. Check out the descriptions. In Hinduism, Yana refers to marching towards a king. Yana is considered to be one of the 6 constitutes of statecraft, that the king shall constantly ponder over. He ponders over Yana, over his course, his path. The word is used throughout Dharmasastra literature, such as, I'm not even going to pronounce it. Yana refers to the chariot and the rest. Yana refers to the chariot. This is the path. Jyotisha, astronomy and astrology. Yana refers to vehicles. According to a Sanskrit work focusing on the science of ancient Indian astronomy and astronomy, in Jyotisha, Yana refers to vehicles. Shaivism or Shiva philosophy, Yana refers to vehicle. Yoga school of philosophy, Yana refers to vehicle of the breath. Ayurveda, science of life, Yana refers to marching. Of course, this is with the elephant, because hard for foes to conquer is an elephant driver who is clever at the ways of mounting and dismounting from elephants, at sitting by means of seats on the shoulders of the hind parts, at driving them with the voice, feet, and hook, at the methods of marching, and running them in the streets and in the country, and turning them back and stopping them, and at fighting with hostile elephants. Okay, that's Yana, marching with, but not as yourself, with an extra force, with the elephant. This is the importance of Ganesha, the head of the elephant. This is in your head, the elephant that others are hard to conquer, but you must conquer it, because no one understands the elephant as the elephant of immovable doubts, the troubles, the issues of armies, of society, of masses, of the mob, of society, of another mind, the weight, the inertia of another mind. The elephant is the weight and size of the problem of distraction. That is the elephant. That is Ganesha. When Ganesha is on your head, you control the element of distraction. You control the weight and size of the problem of distraction. That is Ganesha. That is the elephant that you must conquer. In Buddhism, Yana refers to vehicles. Belonging to Yana, belonging to the vehicle. That is Janus. All right, it's not showing much on the Chinese, but in general, Yana refers to different paths or divisions of Buddhism. A Sanskrit word meaning vehicle. It is a vehicle. It is a path. So how did the Romans use Janus? How was vehicle and path corrupted into portal and door and gate.
Welcome back to AD/BC History. I'm Dan, I'm a researcher in ancient history and archaeology. Today we're going to be talking about two very important Roman gods, Terminus and Janus, who controlled the boundaries between spaces and the concepts of division and unity in the Roman world. The Roman god Terminus watched over boundary stones, which marked off a person's property or a city's territory from another's. Boundary stones were critically important in the ancient world, so these boundary stones were the only way for most people to tell where someone's land ended and another person's began, and so to legally define the size and value of their property. Moving a boundary stone was punishable by death in early Roman history, though this was later reduced to a very serious fine, as moving a boundary stone essentially amounted to stealing someone else's land. But far worse than a fine was the divine retribution visited upon boundary stone movers by Terminus, who guaranteed that the divisions between one thing and another were sacred and fixed for eternity. Terminus' name is the ancestor of modern English words such as terminate, meaning to end something, and terminal, like an airport terminal. The Romans celebrated the festival of the Terminalia in Terminus' honour on the 23rd of February every single year. The most important ritual of the Terminalia was the meeting of neighbours from either side of a boundary. Rituals like the Terminalia, which forced social interaction between potentially hostile parties, were common in the ancient world, as there was always innate distrust of anyone from outside your immediate community. Indeed, the word for stranger in ancient Greek, xenos, can also mean enemy, and the word for enemy in Latin, hostis, comes from the same root as hospes, the word for guest. So the Terminalia and the interaction between neighbours it forced prevented distrust and minor disagreements between neighbours from escalating over time into serious legal issues or even bloodshed. Terminus therefore acted as a god of both separation and connection. The boundaries governed by Terminus demonstrated that two given things were distinct and different from one another, but they were still innately linked by the fact that they were adjacent. But boundaries of border stones watched over by Terminus were still relatively relaxed, and they could be crossed over at any time by anyone without performing any special rituals or ceremonies, provided that you crossed without hostile intent. This was not so for the boundaries guarded by Janus, where the rules of ritual were more serious, and the consequences for disrespecting the god's authority far more severe. The Roman god Janus also watched over boundaries between one space and another, but his boundaries were those which incorporated a physical barrier. The walls of a house, or more importantly the fortifications of a city, were guarded by Janus, and in the Roman mind these boundaries were solid and impermeable in a religious as well as physical sense. Only at specific transition zones, such as the house's doors or the city's gates, could these boundaries be crossed, and only with very careful ritual observance. In fact, Janus' name actually comes from the Latin word janua, which means door. It's also the ancestor of the modern word January. By far the most important border that was watched over by Janus was the Pomerium, the sacred boundary of the city of Rome, which was marked out by the mythological hero Romulus when the city was founded. Romulus used a plough to carve out a line around the area where he wanted the city to be built, and it was upon this line that the city's walls were later constructed. At the places where gates had been constructed, which were the only ways in or out of the city, it was said that Romulus had lifted the plough and stopped carving the furrow of the Pomerium into the soil. So the sacred barrier stopped, and there was a transition zone where it was possible to pass through it, in both a physical and religious sense. It's important to note that Roman superstition about these boundaries and zones also extended to the concept of time. Janus also watched over the shift between months, and was especially important during the transition from one year to the next, which is why the first month of the year in the Roman calendar is called January, the month of Janus. Janus is often depicted in sculptures and on coins as Janus bifrons, Janus with two faces. One of Janus' faces looked forward into the future, while the other was always looking backwards into the past. So like physical spaces, time had boundaries which needed to be passed through carefully and safely.